Do we want to move on to the Atlantic? Anything else left to say?
I think it's about time to move on to the Atlantic.
All right, who wants to lead us off? Because I think this is the division that is the most up in the air.
I'll start us off.
Let's go, Logan.
Montreal's bottom. They're
Understandable.
gonna do well, and then they're gonna get injured. Half the team's gonna disappear again, and it's basically gonna be the AHL team playing for the rest of the season.
Nah. ECHL.
Well, no, that would be the AHL team. The AHL team, the ECHL team.
Right. The Laval Rocket will be the Canadians, and then
Yeah,
the Trois
yeah. It's
Rivières will
just
be
everyone
the
moves
Rocket.
up
Yeah.
one. That's just what's gonna happen. It's gonna suck because they're a fun team to watch, but it's gonna happen anyways.
How many points?
Um, 70.
You think they're gonna
Ooh.
be 6 points worse than last year?
I mean, that's 3 wins. That's a pretty easy. Like,
They were in the most one-goal games in the NHL last year.
yeah, I think just
Do you think they're gonna
finishing.
lose more of those games?
Yeah, I mean, 1 goal games
I know I
basically.
don't disagree that they could totally finish eighth in division, but I
Yeah,
have a hard time seeing them get worse than last year.
I'm not saying they worse. I'm saying 1 goal games. That's like so. If, let's say a team scores a goal, it's tied. So I mean, they get a point there, but I just don't think they're gonna win most of those 1 goal games.
Okay,
I
yeah,
think it's gonna come
fair
back.
enough. Fair enough.
It's gonna be the rookies coming in like, oh shit.
They have a really young decor,
Yeah, that
but I
too.
think I think their forward group this year is just a lot better than last year.
I think so as
Especially
well.
since Liney's
It
not
was.
out the whole season.
No, he's
Like
out
he's
like two,
gonna
three
be coming
months.
back in December, guys. Like,
Yeah, he'll be back by
relax.
Christmas.
Yeah, like it's fine. Like Reinbacher was never gonna make the team
Yeah,
anyway. So as far as injuries go, they're other than Line, like they're healthy.
they are.
Like it's fine.
Where do you have
I
the?
mean,
Who do you have at the last place spot there, Dave?
I have the Buffalo Sabres because that team stinks. And I think that you could argue that they have more depth on paper than the Habs. You could argue that they have proven more than the Habs. You could argue a lot of things, but what I don't think you can argue is there is a stink that has infested that sweater, that locker room, that arena, that city. And I don't think that they have the talent to just brute force their way out of that. They play like they're trying not
No.
to lose. They have way more pressure on them than Montreal. Montreal has no pressure. Again, the fans are just happy that we're finally taking it seriously to like try and win a cup, not just get into the playoffs to make a bunch of ticket sales.
Exactly.
The Sabre, like they're already 0-2. Now, we just talked about how the Devils are going to kill everyone and raise the land and leave nothing behind.
It's worth noting
For
because I
sure.
watched both those games, and it's not just that the
Score
Devils
more than
looked
two goals in two games.
outstanding.
Score
The
more than
Devils
two
looked
goals in two
amazing.
games.
Buffalo
Score more
looked
than two goals
brutal.
in two games.
And
They played
Buffalo
Jake fucking
also
Allen, dude.
Buffalo was under 20 shots in both games. They had
I
nothing
like
going.
I like
They
Jake
had no
Allen, but
offensive structure. Buffalo was getting caved in. They looked like they didn't belong there.
no.
They
The
did not
players
belong
they
on the
they
same
play like
ice. They were
shit. I'm
awful.
I'm totally like
I
the
also,
Dylan Cousins, what a disappointing fucking player, dude. I had him in fantasy last year. He sucked.
ooh,
This guy, the
yeah.
workhorse from Whitehorse, nah, dude. The fucking Pierre-Luc Dubois from fucking I don't know, what's a lazy city? Oh man. Red Deer. Fucking I'm kidding.
No,
I
he's
I
the
don't
Klondike
I
Gold
was that
Rush
was
had
that
a
was just
great
upset as
year a couple of
Albertans.
seasons ago. Then they ran out of gold.
I
I got
they
Buffalo as well. I have them at
stink.
80 points, where I think they're just gonna be. I think they're gonna put up points still.
I have them at 80 points
However,
actually as well.
you have an 80. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't have much to say. Like their goaltending is gonna. They have good goaltending, which could save them in games, but also it's just. I don't know. Like I don't know if Lindy Ruff moving because he already has coached this team like a while ago. I don't know that he's the guy there because watching the way they played against the Devils too, they just were so
They're
unorganized. The
so
way they were
they play
structured
like they've
didn't
already been
work.
defeated, dude.
Yeah, they had no offensive system. Like they never got set up in the offensive zone.
I mean, again, we'll have to see them play a not Devil team because the
Hmm.
Devils are going to make a lot of teams look
They're
pretty
gonna be really
shitty.
good. All
But
right, who wants to set up the? I
I'll
might start
go,
us off here with this because I have a bit of a
sure.
spicy one. I think I have the Red Wings in seventh.
Wow, really?
I
How many
personally,
points?
there's a few things. I think that their offense, I think they have a solid offense. Their top line is going to be really good with the Brinkett, Larkin, Raymond. I think Raymond. is going to take another step this year. Larkin is already amazing. Uh, I think there's going to be like there's a point disparity between where these teams are going to be. I'm going to have the Devils. I still have them high up in points. I'm going to put them at like 89.
Yeah.
I'm going to put them 89 points. So like however though, I just their defense. I do not trust their defense at all. Seider is outstanding. Evanson could be really good, but he's an unknown. But like they have so many people. They have the ghost of Jeff Petrie. Ben Sherrod is nowhere near what he used to be. Oli Mata is also isn't the same. Eric Gustafson's all right. But once again, he puts up points. He doesn't do anything defensively.
Are they better than last year?
Down. What's up?
Are they better than last year?
I think that they're worse than last year.
I agree. I
and
also
their
have the
goaltending,
Red
like,
Wings at
I
7.
don't think Talbot is the answer. Ville Husso seems to get injured every year, and Lyon, I don't know if he can still capture lightning in the bottle like he did in Florida.
I think they overperformed last year, and I think they're closer to the
Honestly,
team
I
that
want to
ended
put
the
them
season
I
than
want to
that
put them at
started.
like 85 points.
I have also the Red Wings. I have them at 7th, and I have them at 85 points. Exact same. I think it's funny that you actually made that pick first and the points first because, I had this all pre-planned. But
I had the pick planned, but not the point.
the fact that you're also kind of agree with me on this means that I'm not insane to think like obviously
I almost put
everyone's
them
gonna be
below
like, oh,
the
you're a
Sabres.
homer, but
I
no,
almost actually
think
put them
that
below the Sabres.
I think that the Sabres suck. I think
Yeah,
that
just watching the way
the Red
if I
Wings
hadn't
have
if the Sabres
something
had
there,
been
but
better.
they
if the
just
Sabres,
they needed to add something, and I don't think they really did.
No. And then they took away. I think trading Jake Wallman was a complete mistake. He should have
Who's
stayed
gonna
there
hit the
long
gritty
term.
now?
Yeah, he was like Jake Wallman played
That
really
was
well
so
for them.
fun,
He's
man.
a young defender. That was such a weird trade.
Fucks up the vibes.
Logan, who
Never
do you
fuck up
have?
the vibes.
I have Buffalo.
Yeah.
I think that's suck too. I just don't think that'd be worse than
How many points?
80. I think they're gonna do a little better, but they're still
Yeah,
Buffalo.
see, this is where I'm like, all right, Logan, you get off the crack pipe. Buffalo, I'm gonna look at the camera.
He did predict Buffalo at the same points as us.
The Buffalo Sabres are not going to be more than 10 points ahead of the Montreal Canadiens. And I think that you're fucking crazy if you think that. Okay.
You know that they're 80 points ahead last year, right?
Who?
Buffalo was.
84? Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool.
8 points ahead of Montreal.
Habs had 76.
Montreal
Yeah?
did not
Okay.
get better. There's nothing. I mean, they got Liney, but Liney's gone for 3 months. It's still the exact same team
They
from
got
last year.
Doc back
Yeah, for how much longer? You think he's gonna be healthy the
the
whole
rest of
season?
the season. Yes. Yes, I do.
Do you honestly think, based off
Yes.
track records, dude's been injured 3 seasons or 2 seasons
Okay.
last 2 years. He's
Luke.
no way. Luke? No
Yeah.
way. No way.
Crosby got hurt a lot early in his career. He's fine.
Yeah, he
Had a
missed 3
very
years
good
in a
run.
row.
Sean Monahan played
And then he
83
changed
regular
his
season
way he
games
played.
last year. Sean Monahan played 83 regular season games last year.
Actually got traded.
Yeah.
That's
It's insane.
If Sean Monahan can come back from whatever the fuck that was, I think Doc's gonna be fine.
I don't know. I just feel like he's gonna hurt himself again.
I mean, if we're just going off what we feel, I mean, we are just going off what we feel like, but like, I think that's a ridiculous. I don't think it's ridiculous to think that they'll get last in the division. I actually think that that's likely, but I think that these teams are way closer than you think between the Sabres, Red Wings, and Canadiens. And I notice how I didn't say the Sens. We can lead into my next pick, I guess, where I have the Montreal Canadiens with 86 points, just
think-
1 point above the Red Wings. I think that these 3 teams, I think Buffalo, like just vibes, that's horrendous. I think Montreal and Detroit are very close teams. I think that Detroit's bad because their defense core is really old and past their prime. And I think Montreal's bad because their defense core is really young and not quite at their prime. But I'm always going to take the
see
young
that.
team that's not quite at their prime but has the potential versus the washed vets. I think Caden Gooley has more upside than Ben Sherratt. I think Lane Hudson has more upside than any defense. Sorry. I think Lane Hudson has more a defense upside than any defenseman on the Red Wings, not named Moritz Seider, because that guy is excellent.
Mhm.
So wait, but you think
Cannot hate on him.
Wait. So you think they have more upside than Darlene, Power, and Byram?
Yes.
Byram.
Yes.
No way.
If you put them in any other jersey, no. But in the
I think it's
Buffalo
just what's
Sabres
going on
jersey,
in Buffalo right now.
I think that it's almost supernatural at this point, just how much suck there is that like you just can't. Like, does Buffalo have much better of a team than they had like a long time ago, or like 5 years? Like if you
They
look
don't have
at
Hasek,
like no
which makes a
seriously,
difference.
like look at their teams like in the past, like look at like the 2011 or like the 2012 Sabres, like these teams that sucked, and see the names on them. It's not the players, it's the team, man. Like
Yeah,
they've had so many good guys. Like they had Jack fucking Eichel, and they couldn't
yeah.
do shit with him.
They had
Like,
Ryan
for real.
O'Reilly,
And
Evander
then he goes
Kane.
like they've had really, yeah, they've had so many great players.
They've
Like
had teams that should have been competitive as well, and they've
Jeff
just
Skinner's gonna
always.
get like 40 or 50 goals this year.
Yeah, Jeff Skinner's going to light it up.
Jeff's gonna bump down to the third line. So I mean, I feel like that's a little.
I think the problem in Buffalo is in
I think it's it's starting
the
to be the culture.
fabric. It is the culture. It's 100% the culture.
Hmm.
The them on paper, the roster on paper, like last year, even then, like even with Thompson hurt and stuff, they still should have done better than they did.
Yeah, they shouldn't have had 80 points. Like if they had like, let's say they even had 3 more wins. Let's say they're at 90 and
Like
missed
the
the
shitty
playoffs.
fucking Habs finished 8 points back
Yeah,
of the Sabres.
Habs are brutal last year.
Like, yeah, okay, like 8 points is a big. But I mean, the Habs were brutal last year. Let's look at wins. I want to actually look at games that were like not OT, like actual like regulation wins.
Yeah,
I feel like those teams are pretty close. Like the Canadians lost a lot of games in like overtime and
exactly.
or just one goal. But like Buffalo, man, I'm not even gonna bother. They're already 0-2. Like I've made my case. I think that there's, and I wouldn't hate it if they became good. I feel for the city and the fan
Yeah.
base, and I actually do like the players. I tore the shit out of Dylan Cousins. I like him as a player. Like I think he'd be really good, but I'm just
Yeah.
disappointed because what I've been promised versus what I've seen is just there's such a large gap.
Mhm.
They got rid of Middlestat, who was one of their better players last year. They
Mhm. I feel like
added
it's their
another
forwards have
young, high
fallen off a
regarded
bunch.
D. Okay,
Trading
great.
Matthew Savoie made
Keep
no
the
sense.
keep the
They
fucking
trade
puck
like
out of your net.
just to get Ryan McLeod. That was a really weird trade because Matt Savoie was one of their most highly touted prospects. I'm
They
gonna
also
rip this
don't.
off here. I got Montreal
Yeah,
there as well. I think Montreal, though, I think they're gonna be pushing this year. I'm gonna put them at 90 points.
that's high. I like it, but that's
I think
high.
that like I'm looking at I just think
It's reason.
you
It's
gotta hope
feasible
that they're
though.
not all injured every year. They have so many young players that
Well,
can take a step.
if they're not injured and their young players take a step and like play up to their potential, no one would be surprised. Like you look at the draft pedigree
I
throughout that
debated putting them
forward
in a
and
wild
defense
card
group.
spot.
Like they have so many first round picks in their roster and their lineup just within the organization.
Yeah.
The draft pedigree of that organization is actually like really high. So,
Yeah.
and I also one of the things about Montreal this year that hasn't really been present is the internal competition at camp this year. I followed them all throughout training camp, and there was like the guys were battling for spots. Joshua Waugh got cut, and people thought that he was like a you could already write his name to make the roster potentially be top
Mhm.
9, top 6, and he got cut because he just didn't play well enough. Like they have a level of internal competition because of all this depth they've accumulated over the years that forces them to play their best players, and players are
It's
going to
really
be
good to see.
playing not just because they want to do well, but if I
don't
don't
wanna
like
lose
if
their
I don't
spot.
score a goal every night, I'm going to lose my fucking spot. Like
Exactly.
there's some real internal competition there that I don't I don't necessarily think like Detroit or Buffalo quite has that because they're a little more further on. Like their big names I think are a little more established. Like their roster, like the roster is a little more
Exactly.
secure.
I think also playing more games and not like even though Jake Allen's an amazing mentor, having Montembeault and Primo play more games is just going to be beneficial for them
Yes,
because they can
for
really
sure.
get into
They
the
couldn't get
groove.
into rhythm last year with the three
No, because
goalie
they're only
system.
playing
It
like
was
30
tough.
games.
Yeah,
Logan, who do you have here? Just to let's wrap up our
I
6
have
overall.
Detroit.
You got Detroit?
Yeah.
yeah. I think
Okay.
everyone knew that these three teams are kind of in the same kind of level.
What do you have for points?
I think 90. I think I do well. I think Patty Kane's gonna
You're
do.
just making. He's okay. Logan's just making shit up now.
Like,
Okay,
Like 10
obvious.
points up each step.
I
I'm
could see
saying,
offensively they have
Like,
players.
what
If
if
Huso
what
does
has
stay healthy,
changed?
if
What has
Huso
changed
stays
for
healthy, he
Detroit?
can be
What makes you
good.
think they'll fall more than like
the rest
10
of the
points?
division, every other fucking team in the division
Every
got
team got
better,
better.
except for maybe like Buffalo.
I think the Detroit.
Ottawa got way better. Boston, they lost Olmark, but they got better.
Well, I
I
mean,
feel like you.
Leafs didn't really get better.
I'll
Tampa,
throw
I
I'll
think
throw
they
this
got
up
better.
here. I have Ottawa here, and I think everyone else does
Cats won the
now.
fucking cup.
And I was considering going wild and having Montreal, and I kind of compared rosters, and Ottawa's forward depth now is amazing. I think Ottawa needs one more right
I
defender.
hate to say it, but they look good.
Ottawa needs another right defender, and
They had
also
the Sens had a
Allmark.
good training camp.
I
They
know
had
the
a really
Sens
good
are a
camp.
team that is questionable. I remember this is the 2021 season where it was the four divisions where it's like the North Division. Buffalo had one of the
Scotiabank North
worst
Division.
season, yeah, the worst seasons ever. Taylor Hall didn't score like 2 goals on Buffalo when he was supposed to be good. And I remember that Allmark had a winning record and an above and like a 9 he had like a 908 save percentage on the god awful Sabres. And I'm looking at Ottawa compared to Boston.
That's
Defensively, they
another
are not the
player.
same. But
Telling you.
Allmark is a player who is a goalie who's shown that even if the defensive system is lacking slightly, he can steal games.
Also, like it's so much easier to play hockey when you know that every single puck that goes the other way isn't just going to immediately go in the back of your net. Like they're going to play with so much more confidence playing in front of Allmark, where they're
Exactly.
just going to be making those high skill plays that those players, like you look at their forward group, like that's some. I was just talking about Montreal's draft pedigree. Look at fucking Ottawa, man.
Yeah.
I hate it. I don't like this team. I don't like the players. I don't like them as people. I don't like them as hockey players. I don't like the city. I don't like anything about it. But fuck, they're going
Man,
to be
go
good
off.
this year.
I got them. I'm putting them 95.
I actually do like the city. I think Ottawa's
Yeah,
a nice
I think
place.
Ottawa is an amazing city.
They need to move their fucking arena.
Oh well, they're getting a new they got a new arena deal already.
Yeah, they did. The manager by
That's right.
themselves
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
That's also yeah.
Their
Ottawa's a
owner's a
great
Habs
city.
fan
They've
too,
got
which is
amazing
great.
people who live there, including my cousin. If they're watching
Yeah,
this,
no,
gotta make sure that
Ottawa's great.
gotta make sure I don't say anything bad about Ottawa if they're in
No,
case they're watching this.
Ottawa's an incredible city.
I'm gonna hazard a guess that everyone else has Ottawa in the same spot because I
Yeah,
do not know who could put Ottawa above
it
any
is
of
a
these
bold
other four
guess.
teams.
I have Ottawa at 93 points, enough for a playoff spot.
Where do you have them for points, Logan?
Yeah, I'm kind of same as you. I'm 95. I think they're gonna do way better than what they did last year. I think having
Yeah,
confidence in a goalie behind you helps your team out so much.
I think
Like,
Pinto is
Pinto's
sick,
gonna
dude.
step
He had
forward.
such a good camp.
and
I
having
really hope
Pinto
Norris
back
can
is
stay
gonna help
healthy.
too. Yeah.
I really hope Norris can stay
Sanderson
healthy.
needs to take a step.
He does. That's really important because they have Shabbat there. Their right defense,
Their D
Nick
could be
Jensen
really
is
good, but they
solid.
need to take a step.
They have the they either need to add another right defender, but if Shabbat and Sanderson take a step, it's not as important.
I also kind of like Zub.
Zub is
I just
good.
like
Like,
him.
Zub
like,
Like
should
he's
be on
just
the
like
top
the
pair
perfect
though.
like third pair, like
I could
Yeah.
see him
maybe
second
second
pair
pair.
even. He just shouldn't be on their top pair. That's all.
It's just a meat and potatoes kind of player though. Love
Yeah,
it.
they have
Respect.
the pieces.
Yeah. I don't know, like with the Sens, they weren't even that bad last year. They just their goaltending was so horrendous. But like I look at Brady Tkachuk and I think, man, his first playoff game is gonna be must-watch
Ooh.
television. Like
It's
the
gonna be
first time he
fun.
steps on the ice, like he saw his brother lose the cup and then win the cup. He wants one.
He really
Right.
wants that.
He's gonna will his way. Like
He's gonna be
if
such
the
a
Ottawa
good.
Senators don't have a great start,
Right.
and don't be surprised if we see quotes the room divided because Brady wants to fucking win at all costs.
Yeah.
And I look at a guy like Stutzla and I think that player doesn't have it.
Yeah.
He has all the talent in the world, Mitch Marner too. He does not have it. A player that dies like that, like, okay, yeah, but there is a purpose for it. He's trying to draw a penalty. He's trying to get his team to win. Like, I understand
But
that.
in the play, that's
But
not a playoff
that
player.
mentality, though, like that kind of thinking, though, does not get you far in the playoffs.
No.
It's not, I'm gonna like try and like, no, it's like, I want to fucking kill you. And if
Yeah.
you try to kill me, I'm gonna try and kill
Well,
you back. No, I'm gonna lay on the ice until the ref gets in the way and blows his little whistle and then,
Yeah.
puts him in the box. No. Like that mentality, that divide is something that I look at Ottawa, and I think if things go bad, that could get really ugly and really interesting really quick because Brady wants to win and there's some soft players on that team.
mhm.
Then I don't know that he's gonna put up with it.
No,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a shape up or ship out mentality led by him, which is good. That's
Yeah.
what you want your captain to be leading.
Mhm.
Dave, I'm curious 'cause this is where it can get interesting. I want to hear who you have fourth in division.
Toronto Maple Leafs.
Ooh.
This is a team that I don't like their goaltending. I don't like their defense. I think they have excellent forwards. They always do well in the regular season. I have them at 96 points. I think they take a step back because the rest of the division just got better. They're comfortably in the wild card. I don't really see a risk of them falling out of the playoffs, but I also don't think that they have gotten better
They haven't. They're
or
kind of.
I don't think there's a reason to put them in the same conversation as a Florida, as a Boston, as
I feel like Toronto's like
Tampa.
they're almost identical.
Well, last year I think Tampa and them were pretty close, but I think Tampa passed them this year with their offseason.
Oh, yeah, and Tampa. Yeah, I could see that. I personally, I still have Tampa in fourth there. I think that points wise, I could see Tampa Bay being at about 100 points. And I think that I might even put Tampa at like 102. I think that Tampa's like still their depth is a bit lacking. I think losing Sergachev is a big hit to them. Although we are going to see JJ Moser, I think, is going to be a solid defender this year on the right hand side. I don't know why they got McDonough instead of just keeping Sergachev because he's starting to get really old. Genzel's going to be outstanding. Their top line is going to be great. I think that their offensive depth is a bit lacking. The main thing, I think Vasilevsky is going to have a better year. I don't know how many more points that's going to get them. Like they're a really good team. There's not much to say about them. They're very similar to last year.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Tampa's going to be
Mhm.
fourth. I don't think
I don't know if
They're a
Kucherov
bad
can get
team.
140 points again this year.
Yeah, that's kind of
I don't think it will either.
Yeah.
that
I think they're
was
gonna
yeah, that's unbelievable. I don't think he's gonna do it again. It's just
Mhm.
improbable.
They'll be good though. Vasi, the
Yeah.
whole season of Vasi, dude. Like, don't forget, last year they missed
Oh
him
yeah.
for a
I think
lot of the
Vasi's
season.
gonna be really good this year. I think Vasi's gonna have a crazy year. I don't think it's enough to get them out of that fourth place. Personally,
I think
I
Gensel can replace Stamkos. I don't know if he can replace
Yeah.
his leadership and his effect on the room, but I think he can
that's the other
at least
thing.
compensate the goal totals. And I also think he might
Yeah.
be better on the other side of the
That's
puck.
the other thing is like I also considering
That
the
leadership
effect
void
losing
though
Stamkos will
might,
have. There is a
yeah, I could
leadership
see that
void.
torpedoing their season a little bit.
I think that
Like
stops
putting
them from having a season where they contend for the division lead.
same time though,
Yeah.
these guys are pros.
Yeah.
Like if any
They've
team is not going to get affected by a loss of like Stamkos, I could see it being them because they have
it
so
would be.
much like leadership depth. They've been through so much together. Like it's,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
Who do you
I respect. I hate them, but I respect them. Like it's,
yeah. I also think the fact that Hedman took over is a good sign for
mhm.
them
Yeah, like
and
it's
for
not
their
like guys are looking at like you're not like they don't look at
no.
Hedman and go like you're not Stamkos. You can't tell
Yeah.
me. Like
No.
they both get equal respect. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Logan, who do you have fourth?
Tampa. I said that.
Yo, you got Tampa fourth.
Yeah. I think I got 104 points. I think they're gonna do well.
that's pretty high.
I
That's
think
too high.
that's you don't think they're gonna win 3 more games with
No.
Dave. I don't think you realize how many points each thing is. They're
I
gonna
think
win
I put a lot more thought into my point totals than everyone else did because
So
I
you're telling
I added
I
the
guarantee
whole
that.
I added up the totals of the divisions and compared them with last year to make sure that the point distributions made sense.
so you're telling me
I
you don't
didn't.
think Tampa is gonna win 3 more games with what's his name in net? Vasi in
No,
net?
I don't. I think that the division's gotten way better across the board.
Yeah.
I think the league's a lot closer. I think the
Tampa's
spread's
got a bit
going
better,
down.
but so
And
is
I've been
everyone
consistent
else.
with that in all my predictions.
It's still Vasi. He's still win 3 more games than Whoever was net last season.
I have Tampa in third place. You guys have them in fourth. You don't need to tell me that they're not. I agree. They're gonna be good.
Yeah,
just
he just
Tampa at
talked to you
third. I
about
have
the point
99
split for the
points.
rest of
It's just
them.
weird they're saying they won't win 3 more games than last year.
No, they
Well,
won't.
let's go on to that. You got them
They
99
don't give a
points.
shit about the regular season at all. They're gonna look at that
I
and
want
they're
to
gonna
go
be like,
back to
sorry,
my first set of 100.
we're
I'm sick with
trying too
100.
hard. They're gonna save it for the playoffs, guys,
I don't know.
Yeah.
for sure.
I have the Leafs third. I think that the Leafs are going to have a very similar situation. I'll go 103
Yeah.
to not put the same as last year. This is just the team that I think is the same sort of thing. They're going to show that they can be an excellent, like they might, if the new coach works, then they're going to have a resurgence where they show they can play like a actual playoff team. And that would just mean that they might have a small slump at some point while they figure out the new system before going up. And if that doesn't happen, they're just going to stay the same, where they're just consistently good, but not good enough to win the division.
I think they're gonna play significantly worse regular season hockey at the cost of way better playoff hockey. I think the way Craig Berube is going to have them playing is going to cost them quite a bit of points in the regular season, but I think that the style of goals that they're going to score, the defensive structure that they play with, a lot of different things are going to get more of like
Mhm.
you think like what Rick Tocchet did in Vancouver, where every night was very consistent from night to night they played. The Leafs have never been like that at all. They've been one of the teams that have the most wild variation in the way they play from night to night. When they play a bad team and then they get their asses kicked, and they play a
Exactly.
Stanley Cup contending team and then they're really close game that they win on the razor thin. And I think what Craig Berube is going to do, and I think he's going to come in and I think he's going to make them consistent. I don't think they're going to reach the same highs. I don't think they're going to reach the same lows. And the regular season point total is going to be a bit lower. But I think that in the playoffs, we're going to see a market improvement in the way that they play.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's
I
going to
agree.
directly translate to success because I don't know how strong you can outplay curses, but
Well,
I
also
think that
in the
it's
it's
going to
just
be
the same
different.
roster there where I don't know. I don't want to put them. I don't really want to add or decrease too much stock in them. I could see what you're saying is them taking a little bit, like taking a few points off to improve their play style. Just when it's the exact same players at the top, I just feel like it's going to be a very similar
They're
result.
not going to get as much ice time though.
That's
I
true.
don't think. I think that Craig Berube is going to emphasize more of like an even line spread. Like he's going to have them like more rolling like they're it's going to be emphasis on consistency, I
Hmm.
think, with Toronto this year, because I think that's the biggest detract from them is they've looked incredible, like unbeatable nights, and then they've looked like they didn't even show up and not even give a shit, and that's unacceptable at the highest level for a guy like Craig too. Like that's not going to fly.
Exactly.
But I think that that kind of variation also allowed them to reach the highs they did, where on a night where everything's going right for you and you score like 7, 10 goals, like I
Yeah.
don't think you're going to see as much of that either, though, is the thing.
I do also I think I have a little more faith in their goaltending than you do. I think that Stolarz is an excellent backup goalie. I think Wool has the abilities to play like I think him and Wool have the ability to play an excellent tandem,
I think Will's
provided
good, but I just
provided
don't
that
think
Wool
he's
doesn't
healthy
sustain
this
an
year.
injury. That's the problem there. I think that
Like if he was healthy going into the
Murray
season,
could be a
I'd agree with
serviceable
you, but
third goalie,
no,
and
he
Hilde
can't. Murray's done.
like if he has to come in as a piece of duct tape
Hildeby's the
for a
guy,
few
dude.
games, that and then Hildeby can actually take a step when we need him
No,
to.
Hildeby. I'm putting Hildeby in before Murray. I watched quite a few Leafs games this training camp,
Yeah.
and that guy, he's 6'7" and he plays big.
Yeah, he's big.
Like
He's like
I look at a guy
he's
like that, and I think his upside is higher than Murray's upside. And yeah, maybe
yeah.
Murray doesn't have quite as low of a floor as Hildeby might, but I'm taking the upside. I don't care.
Yeah. I think Murray probably plays games because I think it's just the organizationally they call him up
He intrigues
first.
me, man.
Like I think he'd probably play. I don't think he'd be a liability, is what I mean. I don't think you play him
Far from
like
it. Far
yeah.
from it.
That's more what my point is. I don't see a situation like last year with any of these goalies, like with Samsonov, where he just
Yeah,
could
I
not
I
play
think
hockey.
I think that their goal they have goalie depth, but
I
they
think their
don't
defense is
have
better
good
and their
goaltending.
offense is slightly worse potentially. Like they're very, very similar. Those are by thin margins. Logan, let's hear it from you.
I have Toronto too. I think they're they're good. I think you guys are selling them too short with the fact that they're not going to try. I think based off of Talbot, not Talbot, Tocchet and what he brought into Vancouver last year, that the players are going to be giving it 100%, not like trying to hurt themselves 100%, but they'll be going trying to prove themselves to the coach.
Don't get me wrong. I think that the players are gonna be trying to
I
prove themselves
just
as well. I
Mhm.
just think the
I
coach
just
is gonna manage ice time more.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like they won't get the same amount of icing, but I feel like the players are gonna be coming out there trying to prove the coach, hey, we
Yeah,
can.
for
This,
sure.
this is a winning team. I don't think they're gonna be like, ooh, let's not hurt ourselves here because they don't know they're gonna make the playoffs. There's no team going in like, oh, we don't need to try 100% of the time because we're gonna make the
I
playoffs. No one
disagree.
knows
I
that.
disagree.
I
I think teams definitely conserve their energy to make the playoffs,
I
They
or
really
think
teams
do.
definitely don't give as much. Oh, for sure.
I think Edmonton tried that
Vegas.
last year, and look what happened to
Yeah.
them. Well, Vegas is different. Vegas injures their
Oh no,
guys.
what happened to them? Oh no, you said Edmonton?
Yeah, look what Edmonton did last
Oh
year. I
yeah,
think
they made the
Edmonton,
Stanley Cup final and they were a goal away
I don't
from
think
winning.
yeah,
Edmonton was conserving
but
their energy for the playoffs. They
I
were
think
they were at
They were
risk
straight up
of
bad.
they were bad, and then they went on an
I don't know.
absolute
But
tear
they were
for the
bad
next
because their
60
coach was
games.
trying to get them to play differently because they sucked in the
And
playoffs
McDavid was
last. Okay, they
injured.
won 2 rounds, but they got
Yeah, I don't
destroyed.
know. I just like
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, they was pretty close against Vegas, but
yeah,
It was close,
I
but
think
they still lost
I
in
was
two
thinking about
rounds.
sorry, I was thinking about the Colorado year where they got
yeah.
wiped.
That was bad.
But no, and
That was a bad year.
Hmm.
I
I
call
think
that year.
Toronto. Don't get me wrong. I think Toronto's gonna have a good year, and I hate saying this, but I think they're gonna do better in the playoffs than they have in a long time. But I think that their regular season is gonna take a step back. Not necessarily because of effort, but just because of like I was saying with like Dallas, like just they're gonna change the kind of style of hockey that they
Hmm.
play to a less regular season friendly style and more of a playoff friendly style, and they already have through training camp. So.
Hmm.
I just
Maybe.
don't I just
I
don't
don't
think
see it.
they're gonna be as high flying offensive as much as they're gonna be a little more stingy, like possession oriented kind of thing.
I don't see
What are you
it.
feeling for points for the Leafs?
I think 104, 106, probably 106,
Like
I'd say.
106 there?
I don't think they do better than last year in this division.
Yeah, I
Division's
think
gotten
they're about the
better.
same.
Yeah, I just feel like they're gonna be too motivated by bonuses that they're gonna get, especially like people like Nylander, who's in the
Contract year for Mitch, true.
and Mitch contract year.
Yeah, I
And
think
and
Mitch
Mitch
is
has
going to
got
have a really good season.
and Mitch has got to prove that he's not the problem. Like he's got a bunch of shit going
Mitch
on.
might also be in his head all year.
It
We don't
could.
know
He might
that.
also, it might do the opposite. Like Mitch has shown when the pressure ramps up, he sometimes crumbles. It
Maybe
might be the
Craig doesn't
opposite.
like him.
Yeah,
Like Mitch either will have a breakout contract year, or he might just psych himself
Get
out
traded.
and actually have a brutal year.
he can't get traded. He'll walk though. What let him go?
No, then I think any player can get traded.
Yeah.
No, he's got
Gretzky got
30.
traded.
Yeah, but he's got 32 trade. He got 32 no trade clause, and back then there was no trade clause. It
That's
was
true.
Mhm. Yeah, that's true.
They get waived.
All right, Logan,
yeah.
how about you lead us off for your team and points for a second?
I got Boston
What do
second.
you have? What's the
I feel
points for
like
them?
107.
Ooh.
They're gonna be much better than Toronto. I feel like Toronto's got some stuff to prove this year on a new coach. I feel like Boston's also the Swayman stuff going on. Like
Mhm.
it just doesn't help your team. Like if you going into the season not having signed, it gets in the team's headache and it limits you.
It does.
You're not coming in warmed up. You're gonna come in rusty.
Swayman didn't play any preseason games.
Yeah, no, he didn't practice and play any pieces in the games.
Do we know if he's playing right now?
No, it's Corpusella in net. I mean, Corpusella's not looking great either. So
And
that's
Corpusala's getting lit up.
yeah, so that's not helping my opinion on the Boston either. And I just feel like Florida's gonna come out
Anyways,
flat.
I'm not looking. I don't want to look at the stats for one game to sway my judgment. Yeah, I can see that. I personally, I have the Panthers in second, and I'm gonna throw the Panthers here. I do think that like about 107 is reasonable for them. I think that it's, you got to consider cup hangover a little bit. They have been to the final twice in a row. That's a lot of hockey. They're probably going to have a few games at the start where like they're just a little bit tired there. I don't think they care about the regular season at all now. So they might lose a little bit of stock with that. I don't, there's one more to say about this team here. They're just an excellent team. Just
Have you
built
seen their cup
through. I
rings?
feel like yeah, I feel like anyone like they lost some players in the offseason, but then I
Their
feel like
cup ring
they
designs look
signed
beautiful.
new players that can basically fill those
Those are
spots.
nice.
They didn't lose any of their main players.
Lost Montour. That hurts them.
That was the biggest one. Is losing Montour is the biggest thing that hurts them,
And Lomberg.
especially
And Lomberg,
losing
yeah.
Lomberg.
And
But they
Stolarz.
filled
And
You
I
never
think
you
Spencer
never
Knight,
discount
Spencer Knight can
you
play all
never
right.
never discount the effect of eye candy in the dressing room.
yeah.
Seeing his
Locker room
biceps in the
guys.
dressing
Yeah,
room can
exactly.
just give you the motivation.
Yeah. You need a guy who's flexing 24/7 all the time.
Yeah,
Maybe they should pick up
Exactly.
Dubois
it helps out a lot.
for Engvall. I have Florida in second for basically the same reasons James listed. Cup hangover, probably guys still nursing things. They're not going to be giving it their all at the beginning of the season. They're going to ramp up toward the end. They're going to be a good fucking hockey team, just as they were last year. I think they're also going to be pretty consistent as far as play style. I think a lot's going to translate. But I think at the start of the season, I don't think they're going to be like playing like it's game 7 of the Stanley Cup final, like the last time we saw them play a meaningful game. And because I also think Boston's going to finish first just because this team, man, I was kind of saying like Buffalo, like if you just replace the players, that sweater, like it just seems like it just does something to guys. Like
Hmm.
I have Florida at 104 points, and I have Boston 108. I think that the
Oh boy,
point
what did I
spread
just
in
do?
in the division is just gonna kind of shrink a bit. The first place team's gonna get a little less, the last
Yeah,
place team's gonna get a little more. Like it's gonna be condensed. And I just think Boston is
I
like
also have Boston at 108.
especially now that the Swayman stuff is over with, like, and I think it is.
I also think
I look at
that
that decor.
if
I
it's
look at
any other
Swayman.
team and I see this goalie
I look at
happen, and it's like
Pasta.
this goalie's gonna come in rusty. It's gonna because they're Boston. Swayman's gonna come in and post a shutout his first game because of course he is. I'm looking at some of the additions there. Their defense is possibly the best in the league with like
I think so.
Carlo Mac
It's
Hampus
between them and
McAvoy,
Colorado, I
Carlo
think.
Zadorov, Lowry in there as well.
Them, Colorado, and like
And
Dallas are
yeah,
just gross on D.
their forward groups, they like in terms of skill with depth, they're lacking. But the thing is that this doesn't matter because all their forwards are just like so many of their forwards are just these high flying, massive power forwards who are just a nightmare to play against. Their whole bottom six is just going to
Yeah, like they're gonna be able to roll
wrecking
4
ball
lines
out
for
of
sure.
the ground. And yeah, I think he's just going to come in and be amazing because that's what Boston does. If it was the Leafs who did this, I'd be ready for him to turn into a pumpkin. It just
I
seems
think
to
the
always
games in
happen.
this division are gonna be very tight, and they're gonna be very tight
Mhm.
checking, and they're not gonna be super back and forth. Like it's gonna be
No,
structured. And
it's
I
going to
think
be yeah.
Boston, I think that's the exact kind of way that they want to play because you look at that decor, you look at their goaltending, their coaching, even not even just the personnel they have on defense, but just the style of D that they play, where they're kind of a benchmark for the league now. I think this is the last year though before this division gets turned on its head. Uh,
Hmm.
so yeah, I think basically kind of the same playoff teams as last division, but now instead of another wild card spot going to the Metro, you got I think the Sens squeaking in.
There you go. And Logan, you have the Panthers up in first there.
I have them doing 112, I think, not much better.
Ooh.
I just feel like they're gonna be like Vegas, where everyone thinks they're gonna have the hangover, and they're really not. They're not a big hockey town, and I feel like being a big hockey town kind of gets the teams, like the players, more motivated to celebrate longer. They're Florida. No one really cares about hockey
I see
down
what you
there.
mean.
They're gonna
Yeah,
be
but
like,
the players are
woo!
Canadian,
Yeah, but it's kind of like I bet you like
or a lot of them are
Florida's got
at
a lot
least.
of not doesn't
Colorado.
have too many Canadian
You telling me
players.
Kachuk doesn't party hard?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, Kachuk,
Matt
Bennett.
Chuck definitely does.
Reinhardt?
But you tell me,
I'm sure they're going
Barkov
hard.
definitely doesn't. Barkov definitely was like, party, party, party. Okay, we're done. Let's cool
Yeah.
it down now. And I feel like the captain also helps that. I feel like the fact that he's gonna
Yeah.
be chill like that kind of keeps the team same level.
I think if Ekblad's healthy too, all season,
Yeah,
that
Ekblad's healthy. That would help him
That's a
too.
big factor there because he hasn't been recently, and they
Nope.
need him to be.
Yeah.
I think he
Forsling
will
is
be.
Forsling has turned into an amazing player.
Yeah.
They
I
have no
just
pressure anymore. They fucking won.
No,
Like they're gonna be
yeah.
playing with house money. Like no one
exactly.
cares once you win the cup. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot of these guys like, well,
well, they did see Tampa
it's to
back
do
to
it
back,
again.
and
Yeah.
they want to do that for sure. And
Yeah.
they'll obviously be motivated to do that. But it's not like it was, going into this year where they
No.
lost,
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
and it
and
was
they just
like,
came back with
fuck.
vengeance.
Yeah. No, it's
And then
not that.
they almost lost again.
Yeah. And yeah, that
If they'd
definitely.
blown it,
We were so close
That would have been
to
ridiculous.
either Boston blowing back-to-back 3-1 leads in the playoffs for the first time in North American pro sports history,
Or
or
the first time
the
there's a reverse sweep in the cup final and in the
yeah
final of
in
any
North
major
American
sports.
yeah
That's happened before, just not
Not in
so.
the cup final
and
though.
Yeah, it's happened twice in
Oh
cup
wait, no,
finals.
it was. Sorry, it was. My bad.
Toronto did it once in
It was. Yeah, Toronto did it and then Detroit did it. Toronto did it to
1960s.
Detroit and Detroit did it to Toronto in like
Yeah,
within the span of like 4 years or something.
yeah, like 19 like late 1960s, like
It was like
1970s.
63 and 60. It was like 63 and 68 or
you
something like
guys are gonna
that.
get fact checked.
I
Go
don't
for
remember
it.
which one.
I looked it up.
I
That's
think
why I
one of them
know.
was 1963.
I don't remember the year, but I definitely know it happened. I looked it up to be sure.
I think
Last
it
before
was
it
within
happened.
all it was all I know that the Leafs did it to the Red Wings and I'm pretty sure the Red Wings then also did it to the Leafs. Oh, the Red Wings must wait, no, that doesn't make sense.
Hmm. The Leafs
The
definitely were the
Leafs
first
did
ones
it
to
to the
do
Red
it.
Wings in like 63.
Yeah, they did it
Yeah,
early
the other
on.
one wasn't in the final. Never don't mind
No.
forget what I said.
Gentlemen, do we want to wrap it up with our cup final and cup pick?
I think this is probably a good time
Yeah,
to
sure.
yeah.
I think I nailed my picks. I don't know about you guys. Where you
I'm
agreed
confident
with me,
with
you'll
my
probably get it right. Where we disagreed, I probably got it right. But
I think
way she
my
goes.
regular
Not
season
everyone
picks
can win.
are 100%. I think my cup final picks, I am so unsure about my cup final picks.
I'm looking forward to it just all being wrong this season. Every year it's like who knows? Like last
Yeah.
year, did anyone have the Flyers being not last? Like
No.
you never know. Fuck, the
No,
Blue
I had
Jackets
them.
might go on a run.
I had Flyers
Fantilli
below
might
the
be
Blue
like, you know what?
Jackets
I'm
last
better than
year.
Bedard now. You never know. So
All right, I want to
it'll be a fun
hear
season.
some cup final. Just quick, rip it off like a
Off
band-aid
the
cup final
dome.
ones. Off the dome. I'm not confident with any of my predictions here.
Thank you, Toronto. That's it.
You're going to Toronto.
I
Oh,
was gonna say Vancouver, Toronto as the meme, but I'm gonna go more realistic, I think. Edmonton, New York,
ooh. I
Rangers.
was considering the reserved pick of like a Florida Dallas or Dallas over Florida, but I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go a bit wild. I'm gonna go Vancouver rematch over New York.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go wild for it. See what happens.
I just don't want to imagine what would happen if the Canucks lost in the final again, man. Like
Yeah,
it's
the
almost
city.
more comforting for me to them to not make it. Like, oh God.
Oh boy. All right, well, I think this is probably a good
Yeah,
spot to wrap it.
I think Edmonton
If you
Rangers is
if
a good cup
everyone
final pick.
if everyone made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, like the video, subscribe it, share it with your friends, and discuss with the other hockey fans that you know so that we have a different outro.
I think you nailed it, man. I couldn't have done
Oh,
it better myself. Like and subscribe.
have,
Make sure that you harass your friends
exactly.
and
Make sure
force
that
them
they
to
watch this.
watch.
Force them like Clockwork Orange style. Hold their eyes open so they can't even blink, so they take in this immaculate content. On that
Yeah.
note, thank you so much.